Hi everybody, it's Ali. I'm back in my music room today and I wanted to show you my UFO drums. I have 3 UFO drums. Can you tell why they might be called UFO drums? They look a bit like a UFO. And sometimes people think that this UFO drum is about to go flat because it's got 3 red dots on it. But actually these drums have no battery, they have nothing you plug in. Can you see that that's just an empty hole in there? Just an empty hole. And the cut of these petals all around the drum are what make its notes. And when we tap these notes, that's what makes it sound. So I'm going to play them for you. I've got 3 different types. And one of the most important things about a UFO drum is that they're tuned to a very, very special kind of scale called a pentatonic scale, which means you can tap any note or any petal in any order and it will always sound perfect, like you're a genius musician. Okay, ready? You just can't make a mistake. Oh, sounds good, doesn't it? Now this one sounds very similar, but a tiny bit different. Peaceful, aren't they? This is the perfect instrument for somebody who doesn't play an instrument or doesn't have lessons in learning how to play an instrument or doesn't read music, because all you need to do is pick up one of these and tap away anywhere and it will always sound good. Even if you have trouble seeing, I can still play it even if I was blind or vision impaired. Look. Don't even have to see what you're doing. As long as you can tap away on this big black ball, you're going to make beautiful music. And this is the 3rd UFO drum over here. This one sounds quite different to the first 2. You ready? It's a bit higher in pitch. It's a bit more cheery and playful and creative, because this one is in a D major pentatonic scale, and major scales are always bright and cheerful and jumpy. These 2 drums, this is the full moon drum and this is the sunset drum. These are both in minor pentatonic scales, which means they're great for meditation and reflection and being thoughtful. Now there's no rules on how to play these drums. All you need to do is tap on the actual petals. Can you see where the light's shining? Tap on those petals. You can still tap on the bits in between, but you won't really make a very musical sound. But if you tap everywhere else, doesn't matter what order you tap in, whether you use 1 beater or 2 or even your fingers, you just can't go wrong. Isn't it great to have an instrument that you don't need to learn, that anyone can just play it? So they're my UFO drums. What else can I tell you about them? They're made out of steel. They're made in a country called Indonesia, and they cut the steel and they weld it together to make a big bowl, and they hammer it into place, and then they use a saw to cut all of these little slits in here. And do you know what they do? They hand make these one by one, and as they cut, they get a tuner which tells you what the note is when you're playing it, and they get a tuner and they cut and they make sure that this cut is making exactly the note that they want. And they spend so long on making these. Once they've done all the cuts, they throw it in the fire, and then they take it out of the fire and they put it back in the fire, and it can take a month just to make a UFO drum, a batch of UFO drums. So they're very, very special instruments. And they sit on these little foam rubber bases, because That stops the metal of the drum from touching the metal or the table or the floor or wherever it is you usually keep it, and that means that the sound stays really beautiful and soft. I wish you were here so you could have a play. Isn't it good to learn about new instruments? All right, see you.